tradition that started last year was that we would share poems, Sakhi, any kind of stories that really inspired us from Sakhi, anything that we learned recently. So that's going to continue this year at retreat. And as you heard, the theme is Gurmat. So I think a lot of the words that you hear have that theme in them, and if they don't, that's totally fine. Just a quick question: if your name is not on there and you would like to participate, please let me know. I can add you. I see some people presenting others, so I'm going to add your name. And we'll go ahead and start. But before we do, I just want to add one more thing that I think in Sakhi we have a lot of great traditions, either dating back to gurus or ones that started after. Kirtan being one, Kardi being the other, Gatha, Gurmat, all these things I think are wonderful traditions. And one that we don't often think about is poetry. Gurbani is poetry. I think poetry exists outside of words, in nature, in sound. So hopefully we can think about poetry as something more than words, more than typed up things, more than thoughts. Maybe we can take something away from this evening.
But this story I had read a really, really long time ago. It has to have been over 10 years, but it always did stick with me, and so I thought I would share it with you today. It's called Priceless Name. I looked at her. She was so beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful. Nay, she was beauty itself. She was wearing a bluish garment sparkling with light. Her face radiated peace and composure I had yet to experience on earth. She was standing beside a river. The sun was rising, and the river reflected the dawn's beauty in all its glory. The whole scene raptured me and filled me with awe. She had a big bag which seemed to be half filled with stones. It was only when she pulled out one of the stones that I realized it was no ordinary stone. No, it was a beautiful gem. I had never seen such a beautiful gem, surpassing the brilliance and the elegance of any gem on earth. Then she did a rather peculiar thing. She threw the gem into the river. Before I could say anything, she did the same thing again, and again, and again. It was beyond me how such beautiful gems could be so easily discarded by her. Couldn't she see how precious, how valuable these gems were? Once in a while, she would put a gem into her pocket, but then she would go right back to dropping those beautiful gems, one after another, into the river. Finally, I broke out of my spell and I said, "Who are you?" She looked at me, and her eyes, sparkling with life and mirth, said, "I am you." It completely shocked me to think that I could be that beautiful. But I stumbled, "I am ugly and dirty. You are pure." I could feel her laughter inside. "I am your soul." Like a flash of lightning, I completely understood her. I saw her and me as one. My dirt and ugliness were the false and fleeting me. She was the true me. Like a jewel wrapped in rags, I had hidden her from the world. Nay, I had hidden her from me. There was complete understanding. I didn't have to ask her about her curious behavior of throwing gems. The gems were the priceless swaths given to me. The ones I'd spent on Simran, she had put in her pocket and had become part of her treasure. The rest were uselessly thrown away. I wept deeply for the time spent in pursuit of the world.
I have a poem about the two princes of Suji, and it's by just finishing. The following is a poem which commemorates the martyrdom of the two younger princes of Suji. The story told by a mystical voice to a young child for the very first time. The air about him had a choking sensation. He could only gasp with longing. His heart pained, his soul cried. To no avail, for deafness was in his eyes. His mind envisioned the beauty of such, the martyrdom of two princes, whose valor he could only think of. He recalls that magical day in Syria. Then his heart lay. His silence broke as the wind blew, as if indicating he longed to be fulfilled. He looked up, the sun shined strong, but he felt in his heart that something was wrong. He remembers the tale vividly clear. Two young princes appearing before a busy crowd. Their stride elegant, their beauty pure, as lines they did enter their path. ears remember a melody of steel. The two lions roared into battle. In a salute on hearing, the enemy crumbled. Wazir Khan, the governor of Syria, started. He could not believe his eyes. The young, playful, aged princess stood before him fearlessly tall. Wazir Khan tried all tactics to convert the young princess to Islam. Accept Islam, he said. The riches of the world will be thine. The beautiful maidens will be thine. You will live a life, bliss for all time. Did speak the princess to Wazir Khan. We, the sons of lion, his name thou know as Guru Gobind Singh Ji. We, the grandsons of selfless sacrifice, his name thou know as Guru Gobind Ji. We, the great grandsons of his saint and soldier, the ordainer of beauty, now thee as Guru Gobind. We, the great grandsons of a martyr, divine love, thou knowest him as Guru articulate. The eyes of Guru Nanak speaketh to thee, Wazir Khan. We do not prize the materialistic world. Our Khalsa is our life. It is the will of the Lord. Thou doubt what thy please. We accept not Islam, for we are the sons of Khalsa. You recall such valor, the amazement of the people in attendance. They could not believe what they saw. Two princes, aged 6 and 9, fearlessly confronted Wazir Khan. After all efforts failed, Wazir Khan did speak. Divan such love, a Hindu by faith, a devil at heart. He spoke a curse. Thou went against all teachings. Of this only God knew of. Satyananda spoke Wazir Khan, the serpent who Gobind Singh Ji received, has caused thee much trouble, and he is but only one. The young serpents of such poison, if thee let live, will only day cause such upheaval. The world has not seen life. The Ghazi spoke, Wazir Khan, the two you see before thee are determined to Islam. It is thy duty to fulfill. I order the sentence that thy should be executed at once. He recalls the cheerful look and smile on the faces of the cheated princes. He spoke to the court, and thou and those in attendance looked in awe. Ghazi, is that all you can do? We fear not death. We keep it with us, wherever we go. Ghazi comments that sentence at once. He recalls the poetic picture of such he cannot describe. The two princes standing tall amongst a wall of bloodthirsty bricks. A house of Khalsa he saw beneath. The foundation supported by sacrifice. He saw the blood of such fragrance. The wind within forever carries with time. He remembers such bravery. The brick of the knee of the prince was to be placed. The bricklayer saw that the prince's flesh was in the way, so he broke a brick to bypass the flesh. To such did speak. With such valor, Prince Tulabas, thou art building the house of the Khalsa. What art thou doing? The foundation must be fully completed. Remove the flesh that is in thy way, for the house of the Khalsa must be of unbroken bricks. His spine shivered when such words were spoken. Only then did he understand the glory of this sacrifice. He looked up into the now dying sun. He knew now that the heavens were the two princes that God had ordained had gone back to their godly domain. Of such sacrifice that he witnessed, of which will never be surpassed ever again. May God be witness to such a claim. Mata Gujri and Gurudev Maharaj, parents of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, respectively from eldest to smallest, Baba Ajit Singh, Baba Jujhar Singh, Baba Zorabar Singh, Baba Fateh Singh. The Guru Arjun Ji, who spoke those words of great humility, while being tortured, by being seated on a steel plates, having hot sand being poured on his naked body, by being boiled alive in a cauldron of oil and water. Saying those heartbreaking words which ring in the hearts of all saints and those who have hearts open. Sweet is thy will, O Lord. I ask only for thy name. I have shown this word the supreme sacrifice of the family, which did not for a moment lose faith in God's will, and never for a second departed from the path of righteousness. May we endeavor to do the same.
I usually don't like to offer any excuses for my work, but I'm going to do it today. I just wrote this morning, so it hasn't gone through anything edited or anything like that, so here we go. It's called 100 Sonnets to Our Mother. I've only ever fallen in love once. It only took one day. Some might even say it was love at first sight. A sight that touched the past while walking with the present and will look into the future. A sight that surpasses the borders of time, resurrecting a reminiscence of washed away history that came before but we continue to live in today. A nostalgia overflowing with anger, strolls around your Gurmat, the blistering heat of tiles under my feet, grief and love, melodious Kirtan, ringing bullets and love, a basin of immortality, crimson blood, underlying fingernails, ranking a forgotten revolution. Oh, and did I forget to mention love? A love that goes beyond your physical structure into the depths of your soul, beyond uncharted territory of known oceans, into an unending abyss of sacrifices and revolutionaries that somehow stumble across an intricate path, back or forward to my existence. That fateful day that I fell in love with you, day still turned to night. But the stars twinkled brighter, so I wouldn't lose sight of you. And the wind blew to whisper your secret in my ear. And so there I sat, 3 stories above, 3 stories above, within but still without, captivated by your mystery and my insignificance. I try to make sense of our inherited legacy, that I belong to you, and you belong to me. I touched your unhealed wounds that our colonizer tried to bury under a mask of beautified lies, while truth stayed imprisoned, heart-aching, struggling to cry for mercy. You asked me how heart-aching. Even the walls of her mother ache. They tremble where the bullets remain, but as I lean in to hear your agony, you say, you fool. I tremble not in pain. I tremble to remind you that I still exist.
This is a poem I wrote yesterday, so it's not as recording. It's called Another Day. There is a world filled with hatred, injustice, and lies. In the midst of the darkness, the baby cries. A mother weeps for her newborn daughter, born in a country where there is no food or water. As fortunate ones, what do we say? We turn our heads away. They'll survive another day. To get undrinkable water, she walks miles and miles. A boy with no family, he no longer smiles. With water at hand, with iPods and games, we care for not dumb, it's all just the same. As fortunate ones, what do we say? We turn our heads away. They'll survive another day. A village full of children, parents taken by HIV. This is all they have left. This is their family. A 5-year-old girl carries her baby brother on her back. We have money to spare, but it's compassion we lack. As fortunate ones, what do we say? We turn our heads away. They'll survive another day. So what do we live for? What is the meaning of life? Do we pity their stories? Are we thankful it's not our strife? We have one life to live, so live it to do good. It doesn't have to be a lot, just all that we could. So as fortunate ones decided to help today, but they've gone far away. They didn't have another day. And I wrote it. Some days are worth the pain. Some days we desire the rain. Some days are filled with grief. Some days we sigh with relief. Some days the whole world is on our side. Some days clouds stand around abide. Some days we want what's best for us. Some days we leave everything to rest. Some days we roam around to see people doing the same as you and me. It fascinates me to find our human race one of a kind, no different than one suppose, alike than one shall ever know. This is all one race we like to differentiate. With orphan arms we should all affiliate, to settle that we are all equal.
I just wrote this a few hours ago. कल कौम की चली सी एक दिन मैं छाती तान के कहता शेरां दी कौम च कुछ वक्त बाद आवाज आई कान च तू केड़ा शेरां वाला काम कीता है दस कौम नूं अज तक की दिता है कदी सच दा पल्ला फड़िया है इस मनुखी जीवन नूं सही ढंग नाल जीउण दा जतन करिया है अपनी खुशी नूं किसी होर दा हासा बनाया है किसी होर दा दुख वंडाया है पटके मनुख नूं चंगे राह पाया है मेरी चुप्पी जवाब दे रही सी इस आवाज़ का हिसाब दे रही थी असल विच मैं सिर्फ एक मनुख हाँ इस दुनिया तो डरती हाँ होमे का रोज शिकार बनती हाँ नाम जिंदगी च लियाना है जे अपने आप को शेरां की कौम तक कहाउणा है वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा
Some of these bedtime stories to some of the children at camps, and this is one of the stories that we shared with some of our youth. This is called Amrit Bela Rose, which you can see. A young girl had been captured and enslaved by 5 cruel masters. At first they had appeared inviting and seemed entertaining, but once they had lured her into their trap and caught her fast, she knew she had no mercy. Her life became unbearable, infliction of horrors. No recourse availed her, but to seek escape. Heavy chains bound her, preventing any possibility of flight, so she sought sanctuary in an imaginary garden of her own invention. This is kind of small. One day, news came that the king traveled their way. As he passed by, the 5 miscreants threw themselves to the ground, faces pressed into the dirt, bowing in subservice. The girl, seeing opportunity, struggled against her bonds. She heard rumors of the monarch's mercy, and a tiny spark flared in her heart. Hope of rescue prompted her into action. Dragging her heavy chain, she attempted to attract attention to her plight. The kind king did indeed take notice of her efforts and commanded that she be freed and employed at his service. His attendants paid her captors a sum, removed her shackles, and carried her away with them to the royal palace. When they left her, she found herself in a bare room built with an alcove of a stone wall. Weary, she sank into a pallet in a corner and fell into a deep slumber. Hours later, she woke. In another corner, she discovered a spinning wheel, a loom, and a basket of flax. There were plain provisions provided and a pitcher of water. She ate her simple fare, drank the clear water, washed her hands, and set to work. She had no idea at first of how to go about this task. The gratitude in her heart made her determined, however, and soon she found herself she could twist the long flax stems. With the spindle, she fashioned a length of thread, which she wound on the loom and shuttle. By day's end, she had woven a bit of cloth. She removed this and finished the edges. The sun had set. She partook of her remaining provisions and slept. After a few hours, she woke to an enchanting fragrance. Enticed, she slipped through the door of her hut, and she found herself in a garden. The dark night sky glittered with stars, and the moon shone faintly, illuminating the landscape before her in the pale light. A sultry breeze flew gently. As her eyes adjusted, she became entranced, and for all around her she could see petals opening and releasing their scent. Her heart swelled. Overcome in awe and the beauty she beheld, tears formed in the corners of her eyes. Not like the tears of yesterday's captivity, but tears of unfathomable joy. She reached for the scrap of cloth she had woven, pulled it from her pocket, and dried her tears. She sought for and found a perfect rose. The first rays of morning sun glistened on fresh dew droplets wetting the rose. She plucked the rose and folded it gently into the cloth that she had woven, and the perfume essence permeating through it. When attendants came with her with the morning meal, she asked to be shown to the king so she might express her gratitude. She quickly washed, covered her head, and arranged her robe as best as she could. Then she followed up to the throne room. Lowering her eyes, she crept to the king's feet. Before him, she placed her offerings of this lovely sunrise garden, flower-petal blooms, oozing droplets of perfume, wetting by morning dew, mingled with her tears. Blowing low, she backed out of the room.
Her days and nights passed similarly in the way. Devotedly, she spent her morning weaving, her afternoons tending the garden, and evenings nurturing to the rose bush. Every morning, before the sun rose, she reveled amongst the perfumed petals of the rose garden, seeking the most perfect blossom to convey her gratitude. As the weeks passed, unbeknownst to her beauty increased the traces of her former life struggles erased by the blooming devotion in her heart. She began to sing and hum during her work, making up songs to sing. Merciful Master, you freed the slave. Every wonderful thing she had to her you gave. My King, you are perfect in every way, yet of others you have only good things to say. Your ways are so gentle, so sweet and so kind. Desire to serve you is first in my mind. Loving you has given me a reason to live. I only wish I had something worthy to give, that I might somehow, in some way, repay all the joy that I have found living in this day. Your ways are so gentle, so sweet, and so kind. Desire to serve you is first in my mind. So I offer to you the scented bloom upon a cloth woven in my simple loom. Soaked in my tears and wetted with dew, I realize it is hardly fitting for you. Your ways are so gentle, so sweet and so kind. Desire to serve you is first in my mind. You are so gracious to compassionately accept this boon from one so utterly inept. Your ways are so gentle, so sweet and so kind. Desire to serve you is first in my mind. Your ways are so gentle, so sweet and so kind. Desire to serve you is first in my mind. She sang his name, repeating this song over and over. Though the girl thought herself to be alone when she sang, there were many ears in the palace, and her songs came to be known to the king. One day, when she had come to his place, the rose at his feet, he bade her to look up at him. What he saw in her eyes moved him completely. Her unending gratitude and depth of devotion awed and overwhelmed.
Waਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ। I'd like to share a folk tale with you. A long time ago, in a very vast kingdom, there lived a prince. And this prince wanted to know more about the ego, his homeland. And so he arranged for all the wise men in his kingdom to come to his court. And as they came, he asked them one by one, what is the ego? How do I recognize it? Where does it come from? And one by one, the wise men gave him unsatisfactory answers, or they just didn't even know at all. And the last wise man who came to him told him that he needed to seek someone else, that there was a sadhu who lived beyond the realm of his kingdom, across a vast wilderness and on top of the tallest mountain. So the prince decided that he would go visit this sadhu, and the next day he began his travels. He traveled beyond the realm of his kingdom, he traveled beyond the vast wilderness, and he climbed up the tallest mountain with great difficulty and great anguish. And when he got to the top of the mountain, he saw the sadhu sitting there. And the sadhu was sitting there with his eyes closed in samadhi. And so the prince didn't want to disturb the sadhu, so he sat down near him, and he too closed his eyes. And after a short while, the sadhu opened his eyes, and he looked over, and he saw the prince sitting near him. And he just looked at him, and the prince looked back and began to speak. He explained who he was, where he had come from. And he said, I've come to ask you about the ego. I want to know the ego. I want to know where it comes from. What does it look like? How do I meet the ego and confront it? And the sadhu just sat there for a moment silent. staring at the prince. And after a short while, he said to him, "What a stupid question you have asked me. Are you an imbecile? Why would you come all this way and climb the tallest mountain to ask me such an idiotic, moronic question? I can't believe what an idiot you are." And the prince was taken aback. He was surprised. He was hurt. And he was offended. Then he became angry. And he said back to the sadhu, he said, "How dare you speak to me that way? Do you know who I am? I'm a prince of a great kingdom. You cannot speak to royalty in this manner. How dare you? It's very clear that I wasted my time. You know nothing. You yourself are the imbecile, and I've wasted my time. I could have you killed for speaking to royalty in that manner." And then the sadhu looked at him, and he smiled, and he said, "Now I have introduced you to your ego. Now you have recognized it, and now you know where it comes from."
So, unlike everyone here, I actually am not poetic at all. So I will be reading a poem from someone who is quite more wonderful than me. So Professor Gurmat, I found his poetry when I was first beginning to understand my relationship with Guru. And it spoke to me on a level that almost matched Gurmat, but not quite. But his words quite profound. So I will share one poem, maybe two. And so this poem is called "One Who Knows the Sikh Fakir." What is your accomplishment, sir? Your eyes are red with the wine that sparkles in the cup of the sky, and your face is decorated with the unfading rose that no one has yet to see. I cannot even write my name. I am an unlettered plowman of Punjab, a poor Sikh who knows none of your questions. But do not be taken in by my ignorance and humility. When aroused, my wrath is terrible. With my raised hand, I tear the dynasties of tyrants like a piece of waste paper. And I start new dynasties of kings whose rule would be kind to the children of man. In my side are numberless clouds that rain down and cleanse the earth. In my tears, the great rivers that bless 1,000 generations of man. But I cannot even write my name. I'm an unlettered plowman of Punjab, a poor Sikh who knows none of your questions. But do not be afraid of me. I am as gentle as a mother is to the child, as forgiving as the babe to the mother, as good as water is to the unclean body. I have the large white love that is in the heart of the sun, and I love you as the sun loves the flowers of this earth. You have not seen my love, you who have no eyes to see. I cannot even write my name. I am an unlettered plowman of Punjab, a poor Sikh who knows none of your questions. I have no language. Neither the stars nor the sky have it, nor can I reply. Come, I will show you what is hidden in me. Behind the veil, you and I are one. Have you seen yourself? There, in my heart, are you. There, in my eyes, are you. But do not fear me. Come, I shall massage your tired limbs. I shall cool you with the shade that is in my eyes. Come, I shall stroke your tresses and soothe their waves and comfort your weary soul. I am an unlettered plowman of Punjab. I cannot even write my name, a poor Sikh who knows none of your questions. I have no language, neither has the river, the cloud, nor the forest that dwells by the mountainside. Come, I shall show you the fountains that have burst within me, and I will take you to the loveliest loneliness, where the green leaf and the white ray hold quiet converse. Come, I will take you to a cave inside me, where you will see what would make you speechless in joy and wonder, where the whole starry sky is gathered in a cave. There, where God dwells in the toiling masses, but is never seen by any mortal eyes, neither he nor those lying at his feet. They came and cut a sick by a log of wood into two. The sick chant, "Glory to the Guru," came like soft music, as they cut him like a log of wood into two. A mere man could not endure such pain and sing the song of peace when so tortured. The man was dead. The corpse of the sick was in the lap of the gods, and the celestial beings took up his chant and sang, "Glory to the Guru." The sick chant, "Glory to the Guru," came like a soft music as they cut him into two like a log of wood. The robbers bound a sick hand and a foot, and dug a pit, and put him into it, throwing loose earth deep up to his knees. They fled away with their booty. The sick thanked them. God be praised, friends, God be praised, Guru be praised. All is peace while I can chant glory to the Guru. I have taken the vow of life to live for him. I have taken the vow of death to die for him. But all my vows are simply the rambling notes of the song of his pleasure that knows not their own aims nor their fulfillment. I do what he does when he comes into me and drives me to act. When his call comes, I go about, snapping all ties that bind me to this life ego-filled. I have taken the vow of love, and I wait on the roadside for him with tears in my eyes. At his sight, I break loose of all conventions, for I am crazed with love. I am the flower plucked by him. You touched me, I trembled. You called me, I came. You raised me, and I feared to lose your touch. You laid me on your breast, and I died with the joy of it. You dropped me, I fell. My wings broke, my clothes torn. The evening dust trampled me down. But the scent of your touch still abides, and I still bear your perfume. I am the dew on the grass, waiting for thee. I am as the dew on the grass, waiting for thee, my son. Turn am I into eyes, eyes looking out for thee, my love. My empty eyes are as tears, they thirst for thee. My bones have melted, melted love. Without thee, I am tears, tears, tears. Come, love, from behind the skies, and gather me in thy glistening arms, for I am as dew on the grass, waiting for thee, my son. Waheguru Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
So originally I was going to do the same story that's in the Angie read, but that was canceled out for me. So it actually forced me to compose something that's been swimming around in my brain for a while, so it just came about in the last however many minutes it started from. So it's a little rough. Hopefully it works out. Do. Do what exactly? What does it mean to do, to be? Is it to exist? Or to go about your daily life as you currently do every day? No, that cannot be. I need to do something. Something that is meaningful, truthful, right. Of course I can say it every day. I'm going to be a nice person, I'm going to serve others. There's a great quote on the wall behind me, but what does it mean? We all say it. We all want to do it. When the time comes, do we? Do I? No, I don't. I sat on my couch while I knew where I should have been. I was on my couch when the opportunity came. It wasn't the opportunity that passes you by on the street. The one where you could do it, but you're a little too busy. Or the one that you don't notice right away. No. It was an opportunity that was clear. Crystal clear. Hurricane Sandy came and went, and I should have been helping clean up and volunteer. I knew exactly where to go, who to contact. But no, I sat on my couch, for I was too far away. So I'm a hypocrite. Maybe you are too. I don't know. But maybe there's solace in the fact that I know I'm a hypocrite. At least I know. They say the first step is realizing that you have a problem, right? So maybe the next moment I won't be a hypocrite. Maybe you'll help me. Maybe we can not be hypocrites together. Like, I
have a very short but simple saying that you may or may not have heard of. Happy moments, praise Wainuji. Difficult moments, seek Wainuji. Painful moments, trust Wainuji. And every moment, thank Wainuji. Right?
This is a piece from a book called Celestial Grace, Thoughts on Sikh Spirituality by Amandeep Singh. He lives in Canterbury, right?
I think.
In our area, he's local here. He's a really cool guy. This piece is called Love and Prayer, and it starts with a quote by Gurmat that we all know. Jin Prem Kiyo Tekni Prabha. Did I already say it's called Love and Prayer? Sorry. Okay. Blessings of love, when shower on a soul, directs the course of life. A tiny creature like rainbird may reveal its meaning more than we the learned scholars. The symbolic reference to the tree of symbol by Guru Nanak in Asa Luwa is for all of us who are devoid of love. The Guru reveals, the tree is tall, but has bland fruits, insipid flowers, and even its leaves are feeble. On the other hand, the trees that bear the sweetness of fruits bend down in their service. They offer their fruits for all. Such trees and people live like prayers. Love-filled men live for imparting life to all those who come in touch with them. Purn Singh remarks, the greatest miracle that a man of Simran performs is to heal the wounded souls. The depth of a river determines the amount of water it can hold. Quiet water runs deep. It is not disturbed when pebbles and stones are thrown in it. So are the love-filled hearts. They absorb all small and large criticisms because they hold immense amounts of nectar of love, making them deep. This depth provides them the stability for mere disturbances of neat worldly issues. Guru Tegh Bahadur is in Satluj area. Some Afghani Sikhs come over to visit the Master and seek his blessings. A special divan is held in honor of the Sangat, and the Sangat offers precious gifts to the Guru. A peasant working in his farms nearby also joins the divan. He wishes to offer something to the Master. He is deeply moved in this divan, and he offers his cooked food that he had received from home to the Guru and the Sangat. His love makes him unaware if his offering is small or low, and offers his worship. He drenches the Sangat with his love-filled soul. Love and prayer thus become. This following is also cool. Prayers are the utterance of the sentiments which fill the human heart. All these emotions, however, are the results of superior development. These emotions have to be preserved. Love for our Guru brings him to live in our actions, and prayers cannot be practiced, devoid of the immensity of love. Unless our soul is immersed and drenched in Guru's love, we are unable to realize Guru in the ground. Prayers get restricted to mere flower offerings. The serious sentiment is missing in the prayers. On the other hand, the real prayer is imbibed in the immensity of love, and both mingle with one another. Thus we experience love in our prayers. And finally, I end another quote. When you are in love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. Think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. And that was my
Going on to the slideshow, I was recently introduced to the works of Harinder Singh Mahbub, who is probably one of the most phenomenal poets, literary figures in Punjab, and deeply affected by two key events, I think, that affect the memory of our grandparents, our parents, and possibly even us, namely 1947 and 1984. So I was looking through one of his many volumes of poetry, which is extremely difficult to decode, and I think translating any of it is a deep injustice to his work, but I think it's also important to translate so that it can remain a living, live text rather than something that is just sitting on our shelves and something that we don't read because we don't understand it. So having said that, I'll move on to the first little excerpt. So I'll read the Punjabi and you can try and follow the English, which is really off. Like I said, translating anything is pretty violent to do to a text. Mud Kadimi Shahid. Be Anakha de Sust Hazooch, मैं अजनबी बंदा इस शहर विच कौन पछाने बोल शहीदी संदा कदे कदे आवाज माही दा दुख के दर्द वंडावे समय दी नदी की जाने मैं ता बहुत पुराना कंडा. And then there's another one after this. शहीद दा रहम इस वण दे हर पत्ते ओहले खड़े राज दे अंबर हर एक राज ने लभ्या होया अपना कोई पैगंबर जम दी तूड़ चढ़े ना दिसदा कोई इलाही पैंदा सुनी पुकार शहीद कौम दे खूनी तूड़ दे अंदर. And before I go to the next one, these are coming from his 7th book in the volume called Jannati-Rat, and the book is titled Shaheed Bi Ardas. So I thought that was really appropriate to the theme of this retreat. Alright, the next one is Jonde Shahidanu. And this one is so hard to translate. Kulifongpa and I were sitting down scratching our heads and we couldn't translate it. Even like each word we knew the definition of, but to string it together into a cohesive sentence, couldn't do it. If that tells you anything about Mehboo's brilliance. Jonde Shahidanu. Dukh ajar nu jaran waleo. Kithe desh sahade. Yakh hoye kaum de jere. Bas hirsan de jade. Har paase zalim de thare. Par darya ne vagana. Live satburdi chhod na sakde. Kor savar e dande. And I just have a couple more. This one is Shaheed Da Garza. Kesgardi Sikhron Dishki, Teg Jadon Nurani, Dila Diya Hirsat Te Tutte, Chitte Baz Tufani. Duni de Es Hazum Chon Utte, Pas Kul Panch Pyare, Reha Shahida de Ser Karza, Dekh Mere Dil Jani. बख्शनहार माही केसगर दी सिखरों लर्जी जद कोई तेग इलाही ऐश मिलक दे मिटन दी दिती झूठी दगा गवाही पारा दहल जुफेरे छाया पंज सी सना डोले ला गद रोंदे गुनाहगारों बख्श रहा की माही. If anybody has any idea what the line with question marks next to it means, please let me know. I think I have one more. Shaheed Santan Di Ardas. Jad main saas smete yaron antvar is tarte kalgi tandi jamke mudke gaye gwache karte japji de ek bol nu leke pahuncha gaan main darte mahi Tandi nazar pai jai meri peer jate. And that's the last one. And I think our last speaker is Philippe Singh Okoji, who's going to share some poetry he hasn't memorized.
Let me see if I remember the poetry. The first one I was thinking of sharing with you is the poetry of Veer Singh, very famous Saint poet, and very much depth in his poetry. So these are 4 lines, very short 2 poems that I'm going to recite for you. The first one is about a charcoal, a piece of charcoal. He says that I wanted to change the color of this charcoal. It's black and it's ugly. I want to change it to black. I tried to make it white by putting into the milk or yogurt went to a professional dyer and told him to change the color. He did. And finally, I got the secret. I touched it and placed it in fire. And that's the only time it changed the color. So this is the book. Sabun lala tota kola ਦੁੱਧ ਦਹੀਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਇਆ ਖੁੰਭ ਝਾੜ ਰੰਗੜ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਰੰਗ ਨਾ ਉਸ ਵਟਾਇਆ ਵਿਛੜ ਕੇ ਕਾਲਕ ਸੀ ਆਈ ਬਿਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਅੰਗ ਅੱਗ ਤੇ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਚੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਰੂਪ ਸੁਆਇਆ This is because this charcoal is separated from fire. So let this charcoal touch the fire and to become red. And the second one is about the separation. Bhai Singh is asking a fall that continuously falling. Asking the fall, why don't you sleep? You keep on going all day or night long. Have some rest. And the reply of the fall was that I want to leave my love, my beloved. I want to join the river. That's why I keep on falling and I don't want to take rest. So these are words. सीने खिच जिन्हाने खाती वो कर आराम नहीं बंदे नेह वाले नैना की नींदर वो दिने रात पे बंदे इको लगन लगी लई जांदी है तोर अनंत ना दी वसलों उरे मुकाम न कोई वो चाल पे नित रहंदे Thank you. Vai,